The taxman is wringing his hands in delight with the start of tax season for individual taxpayers. But is he hoping for too much money from battered taxpayers in a gloomy economy? And is the taxman himself in a weakened state after a string of very public scandals? My guest in studio is Keith Engel, the Deputy Chief Executive of the SA Institute of Tax Professionals. Welcome to studio.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Tax season starts.
Yeah.
How much of a tax take is taxman expecting?
Well, what he's expected to do, he's expected to get 1.1 trillion rand out of us. Last year it was 985 billion. So you've got about a 12% increase from last year. So that's what he is expected. What is he expecting? I'm not sure. It's a different thing. I mean, one of the problems that you have here is that our economy's grown at 2%, with inflation officially at 6%. You have an 8% additional growth from last year, but you have a 12% additional take required from SARS. So they're pushing an extra 4. The question is, where do they get it from?
So chances are he's not going to get it. And that's going to put the taxman and SARS under pressure. So what type of tactics can taxpayers expect?
Well, I mean, you don't know if he's going to get, because SARS often does get things, so you'd be surprised. But what you're trying to do, and what the hope is, that you're picking it out of the illegal sector. The question is it, or is it something else? So one of the problems that you see here on targets, it's a bigger issue. It's not just a South African issue. Since the global recession has come around, finance ministers can only raise tax so much. So they pressure their revenue services to get additional revenue, and that's to make up the difference. So the question is, what does SARS do? Well, SARS hopefully will be targeting the illegal people. The difficulty is they don't always do that. It's much easier for a revenue service to get the legals than the illegals.
Absolutely, and isn't that what happens year in, year out?
Many people argue that, yes, and not South Africa alone, across the globe. So it's not.
So is it going to be that we're going to see the taxman harder on allowing deductions? He's going to scrutinize more tax returns. More people are going to be audited.
Yes, I think what you're seeing here is two things are going on. One, there's a higher pressure going on. Two, SARS has targets, which does affect them. And also the way the system is working. Right now, SARS is automated quite a bit. And in the automation process, you're finding that process is becoming a steamroller for many individual taxpayers. So if they don't like your deductions, they say it's denied. You have 30 days with information to come back. Now, 30 days seems like a long time for SARS, but if you ask for a lot of information and you have to work, you find that you may miss that deadline, and then SARS will say, well, too late, sorry, your deductions are gone, even though they were completely legitimate. Now, sometimes SARS is more lax. They'll say, okay, depending on who you have and how much you fight. So what often happens is the failure to get information on time is used as if you're doing something illegal. And you're finding the oppressive information is being used to your disadvantage. You need to be very careful.
And isn't it also an easy pickings for the taxman is to just, it's interest and penalties straight out?
Yes, that is also one of the big controversies of last year, is that one of the revenue-raising measures is interest and penalties. And there's a lot of criticism around that, and, well, revenue is revenue. So one of the things that we're suffering is the post-2008 crisis, plus the pre-2008 advisory period. There was a lot of revenue services around Africa, around the world, that were, the consultants advised them that they should be run like businesses. To be run like businesses, they should be target-driven. The problem is... And
then they were getting bonuses on targets, and just you know...
But that was advised
something
by
I don't like. Okay, but I want to ask you about the state of SARS right now. There are this string of public scandals. There's, rumors out there about efficiency. What is the state of SARS right now?
Well, I think there's been over-exaggeration on the issue of the scandal issue. The scandal issue was with a few players at the very top, and a lot of those aren't the core operations. I know a lot of the operational people. I don't think they've been affected by it. The only thing is it's made the organization more sensitive, because exactly what you said now, and it's all over the media. So there's a very sensitivity that's going on, but to be honest, sometimes that means they're more flexible, sometimes not. But I don't think that's an issue for SARS. I think the real problem is that the economy is weak, and they're expected to make the difference.
And they're going to be grabbing where they can. Okay, so let's go to some tips for taxpayers with the deadline looming. tell us what we can do about medical aid contributions, because that's changed so much.
Okay, well, first thing, though, before we jump to that, is the first question. The fact that the thing is looming doesn't mean you can do something about it. Your tax year ended at the end of February, right?
But you want to make sure that you put the right documents in
that's
to
something
get
else.
the maximum deduction
That's
that
right.
you can.
Yeah, you want to get the maximum deduction you can, but the point is you can't change your facts. The best thing to do is change your facts before you file the return. Now you're stuck.
But
now it's
tell
filling
me,
the form.
so
That's fair enough.
What are you allowed in terms
Sure.
of medical aid
Sure.
because of the whole point system?
Well, the way it works now is that you're not allowed very much.
Yeah.
So what's happened over the last 15 years is that what the theory has been is lower the rates, eliminate the deduction. So yes, you are allowed a medical aid credit, but it's not very high. I don't have the number on me, but it's a few hundred
So you're
per
allowed
person.
your medical aid contribution, and are you allowed extra payments which your medical aid did not refund you for?
Only beyond the 7.5% limit. So you've got to go above a certain threshold. So the concept is you get your medical aid credits, and if you had a severe illness and they add up to a lot, that excess you're allowed. So if you just had a couple occasional doctor appointments that you didn't get back because you know your medical aid sometimes isn't so generous, that's not going to reach the threshold.
So what about expenses which your medical aid does not pay, like a Chinese acupuncturist, for instance?
Yes, no, I have a few of those as well, and won't they're kind of personal.
Can you add them to your tax?
No, you can't, because in theory, they don't go above the 7.5. What you need to do is have something seriously wrong with you, which is not good tax
Which you
planning.
don't want. Okay, Keith, what about a logbook? It's also
Yes.
pretty standard, stock standard.
Yeah, I think there is a lot to be said for a logbook, because your travel expenses, your presumed travel expenses, under the old system, you just claimed a notional claim. That's been pretty much taken away. So if you do want to claim your travel expenses and you want to keep a logbook, then that would be probably recommended. You can get a fair amount off of that.
And just very briefly, running out of time, but interest received, that's also changed, hasn't it?
Well, there are two things. You've always had an exemption threshold, so you receive interest and that's exempt. They have those new savings plans. So if you put money into those savings plans, that is tax-free.
Yeah.
But you can't do it now until it will only help you next year.
Okay.
Because you're too late for that year. Yes.
Just briefly remind us when the deadlines are.
Okay, well, the deadlines are for manual returns, which is September. Most people don't do that anymore. Most people do electronic, so that's November. So this is, the Revenue Service wants you to file immediately. What you will find is that people want refunds, file immediately. The guys who owe will wait till November. Not an answer SARS wants.
Okay, that must impact cash flow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Sure, you're welcome.
Keith Engel is Deputy Chief Executive of the SA Institute of Tax Professionals.
Thank you.